Hey guys, welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. Myself, Jason, bringing you whiskey review number 101. And today we're going to be reviewing the second whiskey from the Wemyss family collection, which is known as the Vanilla Burst. So as you can see over there, I've got this one part of my tweet tasting. As you've probably, if you haven't seen my video on the treacle chest, which is number 2 in the release, I'll leave a link to it. I'll just up here in the corner. But I'm going to pop this to the side, and we're going to pour ourselves a dram now. Oh, this is finally easier to open. So, as you can see there, it's very healthy fill on the bottles. And I got this part of a tweet tasting, so I decided I may as well, whoa, that is a very healthy pour I've done. So anyway, we're going to do the review of this one. Let me get through, oh, keep that here. Let me get through the review style structure, which I like to do. So, in terms of the age of this whiskey, it is a non-age statement whiskey. The ABV of this one is bottled at 46%. The cask selection, this one, there is 2 Speyside distilleries, or 2 Speyside single malts, which they use for constructing this blended malt. And I believe it is 15 first fill ex-bourbon casks, which are used to make this whiskey. Now, in terms of the distillery itself, is the Kingsbarn Distillery. They're actually not the producers of the actual whiskey, but they're the ones who do the combination and the blending. The actual company that owns it are the Wemyss, I think they call the Wemyss Malt Limited, otherwise they're called Wemyss Vintage Malt Limited, according to Company House. And in terms of the actual region, they're from the lowlands, but if you actually find out where this distillery is from for these two, it's from the Speyside region. So 2 distilleries in the Speyside region. So I'm going to see if I can have a hesitant guess which 2 they are at the end of the video, but maybe I might, because I might look a bit silly. But anyway, that's besides the point. So anyway, let's move into the price point of this one. So in terms of price, this one I think is 43, I think it was £43 last time I saw it online for the full-size bottle, which is that over there. In terms of exclusivity, yes, it is exclusive, as it is limited to, I think, 4,800 bottles globally, and after they're finished with that, they have to next move on to the next ones that they're going to be releasing. So far I've done the Highlands, which was the second release. This one is Speyside, which is the first release. So there could be an Islands, Isla, and Islay, and even a Lowlands. There could be multiple different releases from the family collection. Now, in terms of caramel colouring, there is no caramel colours added to this. This is all natural colour, and you can see there how light it is. Blimey, that's light. So, we're going to assess the actual colour of the whiskey first, and I'll hold that up to the screen. Let me know what you guys think at home. I'm thinking this is more like a pale yellow. It's quite light. It's not even a gold. It's lighter than a gold. So, let's say pale yellow, pale gold. Let's say, yeah, maybe pale gold. So anyway, let's get into the assessing of the whiskey. So, into the nose. So, to begin on the actual nose of this whiskey, wow. When they say Vanilla Burst, it is literally, that's what you get. The instant you put your nose to the glass. So the first thing I get on this one is sort of like vanilla icing. It's quite nice, sweet, inviting. The 46% really doesn't feel as powerful on the nose. Behind that, I'm getting a sort of like a sugar-coated almond. And I found that also in the treacle chest, which was rather interesting. But behind that, I'm getting sort of like green apples, and sort of like toffee green apples actually, because I was going to say toffee separately, but if you combine the 2 together, like toffee green apples, a bit of even lemon sherbet, and maybe even a bit of candied pineapple. It's got a little bit of an exotic character running in the background. It does have an interesting note which reminds me of fudge. I actually went up to a few distilleries recently, and one of the things I tried picking up at different distilleries, not only just the glassware, the pins, but also the fudge, because it's very interesting to try a different distillery fudge. And it's also got a little bit of a gingery spice, but it's like combined with like a shortbread sweetness, so very interesting. So I think that's about it for nosing. Let's move next into the palate for the whiskey. Wow, to begin on the palate for this whiskey, lots of spice. Wow, that 46% seemed light on the nose, but it doesn't prepare you for what you're going to get on the palate. A bit of an onslaught of spices. Gingery spice, mouth-warming spices. White pepper that literally tingles all across the sort of the mid and the back palate and the sides. Clotted cream. Vanilla's back again. It's like vanilla custard. Actually combined with a little bit like those green apples of the nose, like a sort of apple crumble. Dusted with a bit of sort of icing sugar, and as I mentioned before, that sort of vanilla custard, like ambrosia, sort of put on the side of that. Wow. It's like a dessert, but the spices in the beginning are very overpowering, and it just sort of feels like it's like a sucker punch to the face with spices, which I didn't really expect. I thought it was going to be a lot more softer. Wow. Anyway, let's move into the finish of this whiskey and come to my conclusion. I was really taken off guard by those spices. Wow. So if I haven't mentioned already, with terms of the texture, it was kind of like a light medium. It didn't feel very full, didn't feel very viscous. But it was getting up to medium, I'd say. Now next, moving into the finish of this whiskey. The finish of this one reminds me sort of like red apples. It's very different from what I thought in the beginning, which was green apples. Now you're moving into sort of like a red delicious apple. A little bit of like a lemon zest, giving that little bit of citrus burst. Instead of vanilla burst, citrus burst. You are getting those sort of soft vanilla spices. But as they fade, leaving a rather, I'd say, short, medium finish. Ending almost a bit too abruptly. For the spices that you get on the mid palate and on the palate, the spices end rather quickly on the finish. And then it's almost completely gone. So, overall, I'm going to give my comments and my rating for this whiskey. Yeah, I'm going to go here. I'm giving this one here an 86 out of 100. In comparison to its, well, second release in terms of the actual treacle chest, I felt this one, it's got its own unique character, but I felt it didn't really live up to what I was thinking in more vanilla notes. The spice on the palate sort of really just caught me off guard, and that's something that, as you probably know from most of my videos, spice is just sometimes something that just, like that, if it's just too abrupt and too powerful, it just doesn't work well for me in terms of a whiskey, and I felt it was just a bit too powerful in the spices. But overall, it's a good whiskey. If you like the sort of, I say it's like a dessert, almost like a dessert whiskey with lots of vanilla, a lot of apple, different types of apple as it evolves from green apple down to red apple. Rather interesting. In price point of view, £43, good value for money. In terms of does it need time, you can give it a little bit of time, but it doesn't really change the whiskey. I've found that with quite a lot of the Wemyss stuff, it doesn't really change the longer you give it. But I have seen that with their single cask. They've got some insane single casks, which fingers crossed I'll get on the channel soon. But in terms of adding water to this whiskey, if you do add water, it does reduce that spice aspect. So I'm going to give it a try a bit later, as I did it when I first reviewed the whiskey, and it did make it so much more softer. So add some water, it'll reduce the spice. But in terms of overall, 86 out of 100 is going to be my overall rating for this whiskey. Let me know if you've tried it, or if you tried the treacle chest, which I will probably leave up on screen over there. Actually no, my subscribe button's over here, treacle chest over here. And if you have enjoyed the video, drop it a like, be sure to subscribe. And we are coming close now. I'm actually going to be letting you guys choose what other videos you'd like me to do. So I've got loads of samples at home, 700 to be exact. And choose a whiskey. If I've got it, I'll review it. So anyway, on that note, I'm going to leave the video at that. If you have enjoyed the video, drop it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe over here. And this has been JasonWhiskyWise, and I'll catch you for the next video.